Welcome to the Deconstructionist Deep Dive, the podcast that doesn't just accept the story.
We break it
We examine the pieces.
and expose the machinery inside.
Let's dive in.
Today, we're tearing down an idea, one that's often presented as, the ultimate path to freedom.
Right.
Yet it might just be the most beautifully designed cage ever conceived. We are talking about hustle culture.
That's right. And our core question for this deep dive is really this. What if the relentless hustle isn't a path to freedom, but actually a beautifully designed cage? We've got a ton of notes you sent us, research insights into this pervasive ideology, and we're ready to unpack them piece by careful piece.
Yeah.
This isn't just about spotting a few flaws here and there. It's about seeing the entire system, understanding what it really is.
Okay, let's get into this blueprint then. Our sources lay out something like 15 core ideas.
15, yeah.
15 core ideas that form the very foundation of this hustle culture. You got to think of them as the building blocks, meticulously crafted, I'd say, part of a system.
Okay.
And it's cleverly designed to shape how you think.
About success, yeah, but also about effort, even your personal relationships.
So it's a cohesive worldview they're pushing, not just like random tips.
Exactly, not just a collection of platitudes. It all fits together.
And it's fascinating how these individual concepts, when you weave them together, they create such a powerful narrative, almost inescapable sometimes. Our sources actually categorize them in a few key ways, which helps, I think. Helps us understand their function.
How so?
Well, first you have the axioms. These are like the foundational beliefs, often totally unquestioned.
Okay, the starting points.
Exactly. Like gratitude and hustle as a moral imperative. That's core idea 7 in the notes. It suggests that if you're not constantly grateful and hustling, well, you're somehow morally deficient.
Wow, okay. That's heavy.
Or regret is the ultimate enemy, core idea 10, which basically weaponizes your past and your future against you. Right. They're presented as these like undeniable truths, almost sacred.
Pretty much. Then from those axioms, you're led straight to the conclusions. These are claims that supposedly derive from those initial beliefs.
So if you buy the axioms,
Then you're guided to believe things like the motivational industrial complex, all those generic self-help gurus, is fundamentally hollow. That's core idea 1.
which makes you distrust traditional advice and opens you up to new gurus, presumably the ones pushing the hustle. Convenient.
Exactly. Or the idea that the flip is the ultimate quickest path to wealth. Core idea 8. It implies that stable long-term growth is, outdated. Or for the weak.
Gotcha. Axioms lead to conclusions. What else?
Then you've got the really potent stuff. The emotional levers. These are ideas basically engineered to trigger specific feelings in you.
Right.
This is where the manipulation really digs in.
How does that work?
Well, it could be leveraging guilt for not hustling enough, again, tied to that core idea 7 about moral imperatives. Or that constant gnawing fear of future regret, which stems from core idea 10. They play directly on your deepest insecurities, your anxieties, always pushing you forward out of discomfort.
Constantly poking the bear.
Right. And finally, there are the direct commands, the explicit instructions, the actions you're meant to take.
Like what?
Things like triple down on your strengths, which is core idea 9. Sounds empowering, right?
Sure. Focus on what you're good at.
But it can be deeply limiting, as we'll see. Or the one you hear all the time, and it's pretty insidious.
Yeah.
Cut off people holding you back.
Yeah, that one's harsh.
And it's not just advice. It's framed as a clear order, designed to reshape your actual life.
Okay, so axioms, conclusions, levers, commands.
And what our sources do so brilliantly is show the logical flowchart, how all these pieces fit together. It creates this self-reinforcing loop.
Right.
It suggests that, okay, if you accept the axiom that hustle and gratitude are moral duties, and if you accept that you must avoid regret at all costs, then traditional paths to success, whether that's VC funding, a stable corporate job, even just a healthy work-life balance, they're all flawed or just not enough.
Precisely. And that thinking inevitably leads to the commands, right? Use new media, build a personal brand, monetize everything through the flip, focus only on your strengths.
Yeah.
And the ultimate emotional lever, the thing that closes this suffocating loop is, if you don't follow these commands, you will live with regret.
And it'll be your fault.
Entirely your fault. It's a system designed to keep you perpetually on the hook, always striving, always feeling like you're falling short unless you give absolutely everything to the grind.
It's a beautiful cage, like you said, because it convinces you to help build it yourself.
Yeah, you become complicit. Okay, so that's the blueprint laid out.
Right. But now let's get to where our sources truly shine. The vulnerability scan, the deception exposure, this is where we see the cracks in that shiny facade. From everything we've looked at, what stands out to you as a really critical weak point, a core deception that kind of props up this whole culture?
Well, let's start with one that feels foundational. It echoes through so much of this hustle stuff. Our sources flag it as deception #3. Cut off those who hold you back.
Ah, yes. That one.
And it's directly related to core idea 10, regret as the ultimate enemy.
Okay.
The source critically labels this hyper-individualism, and even more starkly, a deliberate destruction of social bonds.
Wow. Destruction of social bonds.
And its ultimate power source, according to this material, capital itself, which benefits massively from atomized, disconnected individuals, easier to control, easier to exploit.
That cut them off command, it's just everywhere, isn't it? It preys directly on insecurity. It makes you believe anyone who isn't like aggressively propelling your hustle forward is automatically a hindrance, a dead weight.
But how do you distinguish, though? Because sometimes you do need boundaries with genuinely toxic people. How does this differ from that healthy action?
Well, that's the insidious trick, isn't it? It conflates the two.
Right.
It reframes any relationship that's primarily emotional or supportive, anything that doesn't directly boost your market output, as a drag, as something holding you back from your potential.
And historically, you can see echoes, right? Like Thatcher's famous, "There is no society, only individuals" line. It's a philosophy that conveniently dismantles collective power. So from a freedom perspective, if you swallow this poison, you're basically intentionally destroying your own support network.
You are.
Leaving yourself isolated, vulnerable, and ultimately totally dependent on the marketplace for your validation, your survival even.
You become that lone wolf figure.
But not by choice. It's by manufacturer necessity. They convince you it's strength.
And if you connect this to, bigger ideas, this hyper-individualism, it completely clashes with traditions like Stoicism. Stoicism emphasizes building a strong community, reciprocal relationships that's seen as essential for a good life.
Right. Accepting what you can't control, not just fighting alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or think about it from a feminist critique. This relentless focus on individual achievement actively undermines collective well-being. It ignores the vital, often invisible work of community care.
It pathologizes interdependence.
Yes. It pathologizes needing each other, basically, in favor of this lonely, competitive climb, which, in the end, weakens everyone.
Okay, so that's one major crack. Building on that isolation idea, another crucial deception our sources really zone in on is deception #2, the inevitability of tech integration. That connects to core idea 13.
Ah, the tech piece.
The source labels this technological determinism and also a potent form of fear-based control. It's all about the fear of being left behind.
Right.
And its power source, unsurprisingly, big tech. And by extension, the state surveillance apparatus that often partners with it.
A lot of people hear tech integration and just think, well, yeah, that's just progress. It's unavoidable.
Sure, that's the default narrative.
But our sources dig way deeper. They draw this really provocative parallel between tech inevitability and the old divine right of kings. What do they mean by that? Suggesting Silicon Valley has its own divine right.
It's a powerful analogy. Basically, it's presented as this natural, unstoppable force, just like kings used to claim their power was God-given.
Unquestionable.
Unquestionable. This narrative dictates that we must adopt every new platform, every gadget, every way of digitizing our lives, or risk becoming obsolete, irrelevant. So from that freedom lens again, swallowing this means you're willingly digitizing your own leash, you're celebrating the erosion of your privacy, your autonomy, and calling it progress.
Handing over control.
Often without even realizing the true long-term cost. It's the ultimate soft power play, really.
But as our sources powerfully point out, there are groups like the Amish, for instance, who provide living proof that tech adoption is a choice. It's not inevitable.
Right. They actively choose.
They choose which technologies serve their community values and which ones don't. And even the original Luddites, who get such a bad rap.
Yeah, just anti-technology cavemen. Right?
That's a caricature. But they weren't against technology itself. They were against technologies specifically hurtful to commonality, technologies that disempowered workers and destroyed livelihoods.
So context matters.
Hugely. And if you look at it through, say, a Foucaultian lens, this isn't just direct control. It's a subtle form of biopower.
Explain that a bit.
It's how systems manage and regulate our very lives, our bodies, even our minds. So when we just uncritically accept tech inevitability, We're essentially letting these powerful systems define and manage our existence.
And framing any resistance as just being backward.
Exactly. When really it can be a fight for autonomy, for choosing how we live.
Okay, let's tackle another mechanism, one that really keeps people on the hamster wheel. Deception, #5. Your passion is your moneymaker.
Ah, the passion economy hustle.
Yep. And this is intimately related to core idea 9, tripling down on strengths. The source calls this a false promise and a dangerous oversimplification.
And who drives this narrative?
Primarily, the passion economy grift itself, and countless business coaches who profit from selling this dream.
This one is so insidious, I think. Because it sounds so positive, right? Follow your passion. But it convinces you to monetize every single aspect of your being.
Yeah, everything becomes a product.
Hobbies, genuine joys, things you do just because you love them. They get turned into stressful side hustles. I mean, we've all seen it, right? Someone loves baking. Suddenly they have to have an Instagram, an Etsy store. It becomes this anxiety-inducing thing, and the joy just evaporates.
It's the American dream mythos repackaged.
Totally. It used to be work hard, now it's work hard at your passion. But it still ignores all the structural economic realities. It just puts a new, friendlier face on the grind.
And our sources really emphasize this isn't just a quirky trend. It's a profound cultural shift. It basically extracts the soul from our leisure time, turns everything into potential profit.
And the danger isn't just burnout, right? There's more to it.
Yeah, it's a profound miscalculation, potentially. If you only ever focus on your perceived strengths, the areas where your passion supposedly lies, you're willfully ignoring critical weaknesses in other areas. And that can lead to catastrophic failure. You become this hyper-specialist with no resilience, completely vulnerable outside your narrow lane.
The real world needs adaptability.
Exactly. Not just singular focus, however passionate.
And think about other perspectives. Like Taoism advocates for balance, for flow, not over-leveraging one strength until you collapse. It recognizes how interconnected everything is.
Right.
Or you look at anarchist mutual aid ideas. They emphasize that human survival is fundamentally based on cooperation, on supporting each other's vulnerabilities, not on ruthless individual optimization of one single trait.
So the idea that everything you love must become a hustle.
That every corner of your life needs to generate revenue. It's not just soul-crushing. It's fundamentally anti-human in its drive for efficiency and profit above all else.
Okay, moving on. Another mechanism that creates anxiety, keeps people searching for some secret key. Deception, #6. Pattern recognition is a genius superpower. Core idea 5.
The guru complex.
Pretty much. This gets flagged as elitism and a form of bafflement. Its power source, directly from venture capital firms and those big-name tech gurus.
The sources describe it really well, I thought. The Oracle of Delphi complex.
Yeah, it's really that.
It creates this sort of priestly class, right? The VCs, the successful founders, the thought leaders, and they claim this unique, almost mystical insight into market patterns, into societal shifts, into the future.
Like they can see things others can't.
Exactly. And this narrative makes you feel like success isn't about hard work or even luck. It's about possessing this rare, innate genius for seeing the signals.
A genius that you, presumably, lack.
Right. It reinforces this idea that there's an exclusive club holding all the keys to prosperity and you're not in it.
And from a freedom perspective, that's deeply disempowering. It convinces you that success depends on this mystical insight you don't have. So it stops you from taking practical, mundane, often incremental steps to actually improve your situation or build something sustainable.
Makes you feel like an outsider.
Yeah, destined to always be reacting to the geniuses instead of forging your own path.
Yeah.
It encourages hero worship over actual self-reliance.
That idea of pattern recognition as a superpower, though, it is alluring. But our sources bring up some really strong counterarguments. They reference postmodernism, suggesting history isn't maybe so neatly patterned, and also behavioral economics. What do those fields tell us about how good we actually are at seeing patterns?
They tell us we're often terrible at it. Postmodernism would basically dismiss this whole thing as a simplistic grand narrative. It argues history is way more chaotic, more fragmented than some neat, predictable pattern allows for. This recognition is often just confirmation bias after the fact, or projecting your own desires onto random noise.
Seeing what you want to see.
Exactly. And then you have behavioral economics. Think Kahneman and Tversky. Their work highlights how utterly bad humans are at intuitive pattern recognition. We fall prey to countless cognitive biases. We see patterns where none exist all the time.
Right. Our brains are wired for it, even when it's wrong.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And even something like Zen Buddhism, with its the concept of beginner's mind, Shoshin, it suggests true insight often comes from emptying the mind of preconceived patterns, approaching things fresh, not trying to force fit everything into some guru's pre-existing mold. It directly challenges the idea that some expert has the secret formula.
Okay, that makes sense. And then there's deception, #7, the flip is a viable economic foundation. This is core idea 8. We touched on it, but the sources really dig into why this is such a dangerous illusion.
Yeah, it gets labeled a survival tactic, glorified as strategy.
Ouch.
And who benefits? Capital? By creating this precarious, gig-based workforce, no real security, no benefits, just constant churning.
So just to be clear, the flip isn't only about reselling sneakers, right? It's broader than that.
Much broader, according to the sources. They define it as pretty much any short-term asset-light transaction.
Like what?
Could be dropshipping products you never actually touch, rapid crypto trading, monetizing tiny microservices online. The promise is always quick profit without significant long-term investment, without building real equity or creating sustainable value.
It's about constant arbitrage, quick wins, always hunting the next fast buck.
Exactly. Never building anything solid.
And the historical parallel they draw is pretty chilling, that comparison to the company script system in old mining towns.
Yeah, explain that.
Where workers got paid in tokens they could only spend at the company store. It kept them in perpetual debt, completely dependent on the company.
Wow.
It's framed as a modern version of that old trap, just dressed up in digital clothes and rebranded as entrepreneurship.
So it's basically wage slavery 2.0.
Pretty much.
It keeps you chasing these small wins, hustling forever on the margins. You believe you're a savvy entrepreneur.
Right. You feel empowered?
While never actually building real equity or job security or any stable foundation for your future. You're just playing a game designed by others. A game designed to keep you busy, dependent, and generating value for them.
All under the illusion of being your own boss.
You're renting your labor, renting your attention. You're not building true wealth or autonomy. Not really.
Let's also just quickly touch on deception, #1. The motivational industrial complex is hollow, because this is presented as one of the conclusions from the axioms, right? And it highlights a really interesting internal contradiction in hustle culture itself.
Oh, yeah. A brilliant piece of self-serving logic, this one.
How so?
This deception tells you that other self-help gurus, other motivational speakers, they're all shallow, ineffective, selling snake oil. Yet it simultaneously sells you its own version of the hustle, implying that their specific insights, their framework, that's the real deal.
So it creates a self-reinforcing loop.
Totally.
Oh.
You're told to question everyone's advice, accept the advice of the very people telling you to question everyone's advice.
Clever?
Its power comes from exploiting our natural desire for shortcuts, for secret knowledge, instead of embracing the often slow, unglamorous work of actual self-improvement and real growth.
And that's the real trick, isn't it? It teaches you skepticism towards all external guidance. Except the guidance that leads you deeper into the hustle itself, it subtly undermines your own critical thinking, because if you're not succeeding, if you're not seeing the patterns or flipping enough...
It must be your fault.
Exactly. Not a flaw in the system they sold you. It fosters this constant state of insecurity that only their specific brand of hustle can supposedly fix.
Okay, so we've pulled apart quite a few threads here.
Yeah. So what does it all mean when you put it back together? Our deep dive into all these deceptions, it seems to reveal a kind of unifying truth, what the sources call the ultimate deception.
Right, the central lie, the thing that binds this entire hustle culture argument together. And it's this: your value as a human being is determined by your market output.
Oof, yeah.
It reduces the incredible complexity of human existence, everything we are, down to a balance sheet. Productivity, hustle points, monetizable passion, that's what defines you.
It's like a secular religion.
It really is. A distorted ideology where avoiding regret is heaven and failing to hustle is the deepest, most personal hell. Your worth becomes totally conditional, always tied to what you produce, how hard you strive, never inherent.
And just to be really clear, this isn't a critique of hard work itself, or ambition, or taking strategic action.
Well, not at all.
This deep dive is meant as a weapon against the mental prison of hustle culture, because it is a system meticulously designed to mine your entire life for extractable value.
Everything is up for grabs.
Your mind, your time, your relationships, your genuine joys, even your moments of rest and reflection. They aren't just assets to be optimized for profit. They're the fabric of your being. Your worth, ultimately, is not your net worth.
It's an inherent state, not something you earn.
Exactly. It's not earned. It just is.
So the call to action, then, it feels pretty clear.
Right.
And resonant. It's
Yeah.
reject the tyranny of the grind.
Yes.
Reject the commodification of your every joy, your every passion. Reject the insidious isolation that gets dressed up as empowerment.
And what does that look like practically? Maybe it means consciously choosing not to monetize every single hobby, setting real, firm boundaries around your personal time.
Yeah, actually switching off, nurturing your community by prioritizing genuine connection over just competitive individualism.
Reclaim your time. Reclaim your community. Reclaim your fundamental right to exist for something far richer, far more profound than just production and consumption.
Maybe it just means not checking work emails after hours, or dedicating time to something creative just for the pure joy of it, with zero pressure to turn it into a side hustle.
It's about remembering your worth is inherent. It's not something you have to earn through endless output or the sheer size of your hustle,
Your mind is the only thing they can't truly own.
unless you willingly give it to them.
And that's our deep dive for this week.
Remember, the most dangerous illusion is the one you don't know you're in.
But now you know. So here's our question for you. Where in your own life have you accepted the hustle narrative because it was easier than questioning it?
Let us know in the comments.
Question the narrative, deconstruct the dogma, see the system.
We'll see you next time. Stay skeptical.